Welcome back to the Strong Mom Project. Today we're going to talk about what Kegel exercises are, why you should be doing them, how you find your pelvic floor muscles, how often you should do the exercises, and what you can do if you don't feel any improvement, and a few other things. So stay tuned and find out more. Hi everyone and welcome to Joyful Living and this project, the Strong Mom Project that I created because I find that a lot of women really need this, and I have a lot of clients as a personal trainer who talk about their problems with urinary incontinence, and they don't know how to find their pelvic floor muscles and a lot of problems that are connected to this. So I thought this would be a really good idea to talk to you about, because 1 in 4 women actually suffer from urinary incontinence, and 2 out of 3 of these women will improve with the help of information, an exercise program and some general advice. So this is what I am here to give you. Because having a urinary incontinence problem, it's not normal, but it's made normal because we often hear that when you've had kids, your body will change and similar things. But it's fixable in most cases, and if it's not fixable with the help of exercise, it's fixable with a small little surgery. So please be sure that there's help for you, and this little video is for you so that you can know what's normal and how to go about this Kegel exercises and how to find your pelvic floor and everything around it. So I'm here to help you, and I really hope you will benefit from this video. Okay, so let's start. So, what are Kegel exercises and why should you be doing them? First and foremost, they are exercises to help strengthen your pelvic floor muscles, which you need to do because you carried a child for approximately 9 months, and that has weakened your pelvic floor muscles because you had this constant pressure of your child downwards on your pelvic. And so no wonder it's weakened. And also your body has been preparing to help this little child into the world by softening all the muscles and all the structures around the child. So this happens both if you have a C-section and if you give birth naturally. So it's the same for all women because it's just the way nature does it. So with a weak pelvic, you have a big chance of, or risk of, your pelvic organs lowering into your vagina, which can be really uncomfortable, and it can also lead to prolapse, which it can be helped with surgery, but that doesn't mean it doesn't happen again as you grow older, even though you have surgery. So this is something that you can actually prevent by doing pelvic floor exercises. By not doing this, and because of a weak pelvic floor and the muscles around it, it can lead to urinary leaks. Having urinary leaks, it's fixable in most cases, as I mentioned in the beginning, but for those that it's not fixable, it's possible to get an easy surgery to get it fixed. But I always tell my clients to do a 30-day program, or at least 30 days. If you do 3 months, that's even better. But before you look it up, because with the help of exercise and information and advice, you will most likely improve. So it is important to do these Kegel exercises to prevent leaks or to improve if you have leaks of some sort. It's also important to do this if you have problems completely emptying your bladder, because that can lead to urinary tract infections as well. It can also help you in your sex life with your orgasms, because if you can control your pelvic muscles or pelvic floor muscles, you can also more easily control your orgasms, and that's a nice benefit of having a strong pelvic floor. It's okay for everyone to do these if you feel like it's not uncomfortable in any way. So Kegel exercises are exercises to strengthen your pelvic floor, and I will tell you a little bit more about how to do this later on. So, what can you do to find your pelvic floor muscles? A really simple way to do this is by stopping your when you're urinating midstream. So you just squeeze and then you release. And this is not something that you're supposed to do often, because that can lead to an incomplete emptying of your bladder, which is negative and can lead to urinary tract infection. So this should be done once, maybe twice, just to see if you can find those muscles. Another way of doing it, a more safe way with clean hands, is to use your fingers. You take 1 or 2 fingers and you put them in your vagina, and then you squeeze around your fingers to see if you can feel that squeeze around your fingers if something happens. It's a really easy way and a really good way to do it. Some people are really uncomfortable doing it, but if you want to find out yourself if you can, that's the way to do it. Or you can ask your doctor to do it when you go for your checkup as well. And one way to feel if they're working is to stop or imagine yourself stopping yourself from passing gas. So you start by kind of like squeezing the anal, and then you imagine a zipper. So from the anal and to the front, like you're drawing a zipper up, and then you hold that squeeze. And that's a really good way to find the pelvic floor muscles. I'm gonna be talking a little bit more about this later on in the video on how to do some of the exercises. So how often should you be doing your Kegel exercises? Well, ideally you should be doing them daily. In the beginning, after you've given birth, you should actually be doing them 3 times a day. But I know this can be a struggle. I know this can be really hard, and even for me who know the importance, it can be hard to sometimes remember to do them. So what I did when I've had my kids, I've always found a cue, and my cue was when my babies were breastfeeding, or I would do the Kegel exercises while feeding. Even at night I was laying on my side, I was doing them on my side, and during the day I was either on my side or sitting up while doing it. So I always did my Kegel exercises while feeding my kid, and that of course goes just as well if you're bottle feeding, of course. So do them daily if you can. Do them several times a day, but be careful to not overdo it. At most 3 times per day, because if you overwork those muscles, they won't be able to fulfill the real function. So when you sneeze and when you cough or etc., the muscles will be tired because you worked them out too hard, so they won't be able to actually fulfill the real function. So be a little careful, don't go all in, but do them daily, because it's really important. And find a cue that works for you. Maybe it's in the line at the grocery store, maybe it's when you're going somewhere in the car, maybe it's when you're reading. It's not hard in any way. You don't get sweaty. It's just really easy to do them, and no one can see that you're doing them. So you can do them daily without any problem. And I challenge you to do it 30 days in a row and check it off on a list. Maybe you print a calendar out and then you check it off on that list. I did my Kegel exercises today and today and today, and just check that list off and see that you actually do them daily, because that can be on its own a motivation, and also you will see the benefits of doing it by sticking to it for 30 days. So I hope you'll do that, and yeah, tell me how's it going, okay? So what do you do if you don't feel any improvement after these 30 days? Well, I always tell my clients to check with their gynecologist or specified or specialized doctor. And this is all different in different countries. Here in Sweden, I know where to turn when getting help with this. But in other countries, I'm not sure how to do it. So I advise you to ask someone who knows. Maybe you go back to the hospital where you gave birth, or there are many different instances in different countries. So they will know what to do, because oftentimes you either need to continue doing these exercises, or maybe you're not doing them correctly and need someone to further explain how to find the muscles by showing you, like with their fingers inside of you, or telling you when you're doing it correctly. And that for that you need a person to help you, or you might need you actually might need surgery, and that's a small little surgery, and it has helped a lot of women. Don't be ashamed of this if you have a problem with urinary leaks in any way, because it's nothing to be ashamed of. You've given birth, you've carried a child for 9 months, and your body has done something incredible, and it's been working hard. So please give yourself that, and know that this is normal. It's not normal, it happens, and it's okay, but it's not normal, and you should get it fixed. You should get it looked at if you continue having problems with this, because it's not a way of life. I mean, it's not a nice life to live, to always be worried about if you're gonna leak, if you want to run, or if you want to jump, or if you want to play with your kids. You want to feel safe, that you can hold it in, hold the pee in, because I mean, yeah, that's just, you want to be playing with your kids normally and go about your day in a normal way without having to worry about this. So please, I encourage you to look this up if you're having problems, and don't be ashamed, because there are many women out there who suffer from this. So know that you're not alone. So last but not least, we're going to talk about the different kinds of ways you can do the Kegel exercises. And first and foremost, I want you to see this whole part of your body like as a house, where the pelvic floor muscles, they are the floor of the house. The core, your back and your abdomen, they are the walls. And your diaphragm is the roof. These all have to work properly for your house to be a safe place and for it to not fall apart, or when I talk about the body, for some part to not be dysfunctional. So with a working pelvic floor, with a working core that's strong, and with a diaphragm that's working at its full potential as well, you have a strong built house that can withstand a lot. If, however, you have a pelvic floor, for example, that's weak, all the force from doing things, for perhaps you're like when you're lifting your kid, all the strength or all the pressure will go downwards because you have a strong diaphragm and you maybe have a strong core. So all the pressure will go down on the pelvic floor and not spread out on the other parts. So that's why all the parts need to be strong, because you have to be able to contain the pressure within this little house for it to work properly. And if you have a weak core, the same goes for that. You're gonna have probably a lot of pain in your back, or maybe it can spread out higher up in your back as well. So all these parts need to be strong in order for you to work properly, for your body to work properly. And if you do the Kegel exercises and find that you have pain in your back or in your abdomen, that can be a sign that you're not doing them correctly. So maybe you need a personal trainer that's specifying this, that can help you look at it and see, or maybe you need to go to your gynecologist and have it looked up and to get some guidance there. And remember what I said about when you're contracting your pelvic floor muscles, that you have to have a loose abdomen and back and butt and side and thighs, because if you tense those or if you squeeze those in any way, you're doing them incorrectly. So remember that you're first squeezing around your anal and then the zipper goes up around or alongside your vagina and up, and think as if you're drawing in your belly button also. So you also get an extra exercise there. There are 3 different kinds of pelvic floor or Kegel exercises. There are the quick contractions. Those are the ones that help you stop those fast, like if you sneeze or if you cough, then you need those to automatically jump in and, oh, I'm gonna help her not pee her pants. So the quick ones, the quick Kegel exercises, they help you with that. Then you also have the strength exercises, where you use all your strength in your pelvic floor to squeeze as hard as you can for as long as you can, to help you with the strength muscles in your pelvic floor. And then you have your endurance exercises, where you squeeze like to about 60-70% of your full capacity, and then you do it for as long as you can. These muscles help you with, for example, when you're walking long stretches, or when you're running, or other things where you're going at it for a long time, because you need those endurance muscles to be able to kick in and stay focused while you're doing perhaps exercise or walking or cleaning or whatever it might be. So the quick ones, you just squeeze for like a second or two, and then you release, and then you squeeze and release and squeeze and release and squeeze and release. I am gonna link a really good page where you actually get a program that you can follow. I'm not gonna do a full program here because that one is great. So I'm gonna link it down below. So check that out, because it's gonna be really helpful. And you also have more information about this on that page. And then we also have the strength exercises, where you squeeze like 100% as hard as you can, but remember to not tense up any other muscles around, but only the pelvic floor. So you do that for as hard as you can, and for about, in the beginning, it could be 2 seconds. And as you go along, it gets longer and longer and longer, and maybe you can do it for up to 30 seconds after a while. And then you have the endurance. exercises where you tense on for or you squeeze for about, as I said, 60-70% of your full potential, muscle potential, and then you do that for about 10-20 seconds. In the beginning it might be shorter. So here are a little bit of information about your pelvic floor, and I really hope this helps you, and I would be happy to ask any questions if you're interested. And the next part of this Strong Mom project will be about diastasis recti and how to measure it, and some exercises to go along with that as well. So if you're not already subscribed, please subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you in the next episode. Also, if you have any questions regarding this getting back in shape after pregnancy, please ask them below, and I will be happy to either bring them up sometime in this series or answer them in the comments. I hope you'll have a great day, and I'll see you later. Bye!